Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach the Gear Guy, OGE, coming back at you with another Zach the Gear Guy Predicts video. Um, Today we are predicting SHW 51. As you can see, I have the full match card here, in front of me. Um, just a couple reminders in case it's been a while since you guys have seen any of my predictions videos or are new to the channel. Nobody has bribed me. All of my thoughts and opinions are my own. These are my raw reactions, my thoughts, my opinions. Um, Nobody's DM'd me to favor them over others. Um, and all of these matches are not in show order. These are how they were presented to us via SHW social media, and how they were announced. So, without further ado, let's get into this predictions video. First off, we have one of two Jake the Snake Legacy Championship Tournament semifinal matches. That, of course, being Chip Day taking on Nightmare Factory trained Shoot Taylor. I like both these men. Both these men advanced over their opponents, both Nick Halen and AC Mack, respectively, due to, well, I'll get to that in just a second. As that match is further on down the line. But this one's really tough for me to predict here. I know Chip Day has been probably one of the longest, if not the longest tag team champions, one half of a tag team champion, alongside his tag partner Kyle Matthews, previously known as Technical Excellence. And he has had two opportunities at the SHW Championship, that being the six-man scramble back in December of 2020. And just a few months ago, recently, he challenged Gunnar Miller for the SHW Championship and had a great showing there. Shoot Taylor, it's always a pleasure seeing you at SHW events and seeing you wrestle and grow in SHW. But if I had to pick one of both of these men here, I'm going to have to say Chip Day does an advantage. It's just, he's got a new attitude, a new era, quote unquote, going for him. So I'm going to go Chip Day here. Next up, we have the second Jake the Snake Legacy Championship Tournament semifinal match, and that is, why out of all people do I have to say this name? I can't believe it. Still to this day, Bryce Cannon defeated Rob Killjoy, one half of the Ugly Ducklings, and outlandish Zicky Dice, after taking the spot of my homie Carly Bravo, who is now All Elite, baby. Adam Cole, please do not sue me for that, but still, I gotta give Carly his props. He deserves it. But Bryce Cannon is like Bryce Cannon, Exotic Youth. You've got Zach Mosley, the man missing the $1 million mullet from the last time I saw him. You've got Cornelius Pepperbottom as well. Whenever these three men are in a match, it's basically like the four horsemen, where Ric Flair would always open his mouth and people would really not take a keen to him and Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, etc. But he's going up against, two finger salute, the Kenway, one of Joe Black's prodigies, is the Kenway. I'm really looking forward to this match. Of course, with Bryce Cannon, I'm expecting a bit of chicanery. Maybe some interference from Exotic Youth. I wouldn't rule that out. But there's only one way I'm going here in my predictions video. It is the Kenway. I think Kenway's going to take it. And I do believe Chip Day is going to be in the final somewhere down the line. And that will be reference to when those two first met just a few months ago, where the Kenway took Chip Day to his limit in a 30-minute classic. Next up, we have one of the biggest rivalries, dating back to the Georgia Wrestling History Awards and Gala, between one half of the Georgia Wrestling History Award, Wrestler of the Year for 2022, AC Mack taking on the other half of the Georgia Wrestling and History Award Wrestler of the Year, Nick Halen, for obviously 2022. Because both men have returned to SHW. AC Mack came back and said, like, I will prove to you why I am the Georgia wrestler, why I should be considered the Wrestler of the Year for 2022. And then Nick Halen came in and he's like, no, I'm the Wrestler of the Year for 2022. Both men have been at each other's throats, and AC Mack and Nick Halen both agree that it's time to finally let the Georgia Wrestler of the Year for 2022 speak and take it to the ring. But AC Mack drops this really deep promo saying, if by somehow, some way, you beat me, maybe I don't deserve to be called Wrestler of the Year. Heck, maybe I don't deserve to be here at all. So if AC Mack loses to Nick Halen, he will leave SHW forever. Now, with AC Mack being a former SHW champion in his own right, and a former IWTV World Champion, AC, I hope you know what you're doing by putting your career on the line. I've seen it before with Gunner versus Corey, where it's sad to see both men go, where it's sad to see a man leave a promotion that he's called his home for so long. It's the same with Logan Chase, where All-Star Special took on the Approved, and if they lost that match, Logan Chase would leave SHW, but he ended up leaving anyway. But it's kind of a reference to that match. Like, I don't want AC Mack to leave SHW. He's one of my favorites, and both of these men I'm really good friends with. But if I had to pick one to now, mind you, Nick Halen did swing a chair at AC Mack's leg. So how good is that leg gonna be come the 10th? Is my question here. But AC versus Nick Halen, if AC Mack leaves SHW, if AC Mack loses, he leaves SHW. I'm going to say, let me just say this. Last time there was a stipulation this big on the line, it was, I believe, Dylan James versus Cruel. If Dylan won, Brooklyn was out of SHW. And if Cruel won, Dylan had to remove all of his booking power. So I remember that match very well. AC, I hope you know what you're doing. My gut tells me AC Mack, but my mind tells me Nick Halen. But I'm going to go with AC Mack. There has to be a lot of pressure. It's official. I got my pen. AC Mac has got to be under a lot of pressure, a lot of reflection going into this. Um, I know this will be one of those matches that might be match of the night. Um, but I'm going to go AC Mac here. Um, Next up, we have the mysterious Movie Mike, who obviously, from what I've been told, there will be a seat um, for Ashton Starr, who Movie Mike has been sending these promos to. But the most questions that we have in SHW is like, he wants to make Ashton his +1. Like, what does that mean? Does he want to be a tag champ with Ashton? Does he want to take Ashton and bring him back to SHW Gold? Does he want to have a one-on-one match with Ashton? Like, I mean, we've seen people come into SHW, like Reka Tahaka, like Tank, and make a point, but none of them have taken a point quite like, never have taken the approach like Movie Mike has. But Movie Mike will be debuting against the re-debuting, formerly known Blanco Loco, one half of the International Superstars, as newly named Orion. Now, when your name changes, that means you've got to be honing your craft. There's got to be something new, exciting about you. You've left your identity behind. So what is Orion going to do differently than Blanco Loco would do? Whether Ashton shows up, I don't know. But I'm not even betting. Now I've seen Blanco Loco before. He's been to SHW before. Orion has under a new name, under a different name, formerly known as Blanco Loco. But honestly, I think there's too much mystery around Movie Mike. So I'm thinking Movie Mike gets the win here in his SHW debut. Will Ashton show up? I don't know. What's going on with all of that, but that will be interesting. We have the return of something I've basically been asking for a while, and that's more women coming into SHW, like seeing more female matches. If you don't know, I occasionally like to see maybe like when a women's match in SHW comes, I'm all for it. And with Danny Jordan building this new women's division, I mean, I can't wait to see some returning faces. I can't wait to see new faces coming to the women's division, or like at least expanding the women's roster. In terms of it, possibly Danny Jordan, please make this happen. An SHW Women's Championship could be coming into play soon. I don't know. But we've got Dream Girl Ellie taking on Kaylee Alexa. With obviously speaking of Danny, she will be the special guest commentator, joining Gerard Barner and Brandon Bennerfield on commentary for this match. Dream Girl Ellie, again, one half of the International Superstars. She's been on AEW, WWE, obviously down at Viro Pro. Kaylee Alexa is the sister of Kenzie Page. She's been training for quite a while. And both these ladies are debuting in SHW. This is going to be a good one-on-one contest, I think, and a good start to getting that the women matches back on track ever since they got cut off at SHW 39. Um but I do think Dream Girl Ellie gets the win over Kylie Alexa in this match. Um so and then we will hear from some people. We will hear from not only the SHW champion Judas, who we rarely hear from, let alone see in media appearances. But yeah, after the quote unquote Don Callis like screw job that happened where Judas chokeslammed two referees, Todd Sexton comes out, only counts to 2 for Gunnar Miller. Gunnar Miller gets aggravated, and then just does a fast free count and screws Gunnar out of his title reign. For Judas, we will hear from Todd Sexton and Judas. Gary Lamb did bring Todd in for a reason. And I think I spoke to Todd like a few vlogs in one of my vlogs recently, and I couldn't tell what his true intentions were. But why? I think we'll get some answers here from Todd, but more specifically from Judas, on how he feels about being the new champ. We will also hear from my guy, my friend, Owen Knight. After turning his back on his former tag team partner, a man who he faced in the Best of 7 series, and I called it the Best of 7 series I've ever seen. Narcissism, after being just a hair's breadth away from being called the new tag team champions. We will hear from Owen Knight and his thoughts on why he clocked out his own partner and ultimately cost the match. I don't know what Owen has to say here, but he said on social media, if you follow him, "I've got a story to tell you." And then, in your main event, it's an SHW tag team title match in a tables match. We have Happy Madness, Sunny Days, and Sal Rinauro taking on the Hierarchy, Murder One and Joe Black. 2-finger salute there to both of those men. After getting a pep talk from Buff Bagwell and his tag team partner in the American Males, I do think the Hierarchy has an advantage. And we did hear from Joe Black, because Sunny Days and Sal Rinauro attempted to put Joe Black's girlfriend through a table recently. But luckily, Joe Black and Murder One made the save, which unfortunately for Jeremy Prater that night, he ended up going for a table via the Hierarchy. And I think whenever we've seen Sunny Days in a tables match, it's not really ended well for him. I should know because whilst I've not been in a tables match, I have been put through a table myself. So the only tables match I think I've seen Sunny in a couple matches where tables were used, like the Bunkhouse Brawl with Ali and Towers versus Logan Creed and Sunny Days, and Austin Towers versus Sunny Days in a tables match. And I do believe tables were used in the First Blood match as well. But Happy Madness versus the Hierarchy in a tables match, where the only way to win is to put your opponent through a table. I can't rule out a Happy Madness retain, but I'm going to call it the Hierarchy get the win here and become your new SHW Tag Team Champions. And possibly we might see the return of, somewhere down the line, of maybe All-Star Special and the other tag teams who want a shot finally come back and get a shot at the titles. Maybe that open challenge will come back along with new champions. Well, I'll run through my predictions one more time for you. Chip Day versus Shoot Taylor, I'm going Chip Day. Kenway versus Bryce Cannon, I'm going Kenway. AC Mac versus Nick Halen. If AC Mac loses, he leaves SHW. AC, I hope you know what you're doing. I'm just going to say that one more time. I'm praying AC Mac wins this one. Orion versus Movie Mike, I'm going Movie Mike. Dream Girl Ellie versus Kylie Alexa with a special guest commentator, Danny Jordan. I'm going Dream Girl Ellie. Todd Sexton, we will hear from Todd Sexton and Judas. I don't know what Todd's gonna say, but I guarantee you, after what Todd pulled, we will hear from Gary and possibly Gunner as well. We will hear from Owen Knight. I'm intrigued to hear what he has to say after reflecting on what he's done with Naja and how he cost both him and Naja the SHW Tag Team titles. The SHW Tag Team titles tables match, Happy Madness versus the Hierarchy. I'm going Hierarchy on this one. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And always subscribe. That always gives me motivation. As always, I've been Zach the Gear Guy, OGE, and I will see you in the next video.